This chair's too short. I gotta raise it up.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Tiana, and as you can see here, this is not my normal style of video shooting, but if you don't know who I am, my name's Tiana, and I'm the owner and creator of a handmade candle company called Winding Wick Candles, and today is going to be kind of a sit down talk with me video. As you can obviously see by the thumbnail and the title of the video, I'm going to share with you a recent experience that I had at a very large craft show. And like I said, I'm really not into these types of exposing or drama kind of videos. This is not what this is intended for. I really do want to use this video to try to help other people in the future make certain decisions about small business spending and how you should spend your money. Not how you should spend your money, but making the decision of spending a large amount of money on a certain event. But this is my second time filming this video because the first one, the quality was really bad with the audio. So I have a microphone here, and I hope that works out for you to drown out the sound of my fish tank. And I'm currently just trying to get this video out there today. But if you have been following my channel, you know that I have been talking a lot about a big event that I just finished, and it's called the Pinners Conference. And if you've never heard of this event, it's kind of like a workshop slash shopping experience where people come who want to see really like the DIY aspect of pinners and all of the things you kind of expect with Pinterest. You kind of come and see that in real life. So there's a lot of DIY activities and classes so you can learn, which I think is a really cool concept, and it was one of the things that really got me excited about this event. Now with pinners, I don't think that it is like hosted by Pinterest. They do say the word Pinterest a lot, but I have never heard this called a Pinterest event, so I don't think it has anything to do with the actual company Pinterest. I do think it's separate, but I'm not for sure on that. That's what I get from it. But anyway, I was contacted a while back to be a vendor for this event, and as you can see by the title, it didn't work out for me. I totally flopped, and I just want to go through with you and try to dissect what happened at this event and what happened with a lot of vendors at this event, so that hopefully in the future you can kind of make the better decisions about what events you attend. And in no way am I trying to put a bad light on pinners. Maybe this particular Texas event this year was just not right. So I don't know how their other events have gone. Like I said, this was my first time going, but I wish I would have found a video like this before I signed up. I kind of scoured the internet and I could not find anything like this, so this is the video. And I was kind of contemplating doing this, but I really want to help people in the future, so I have listed some pros and cons about this event. A lot of cons, because I will not be going back to this event. I'm just telling you straight up. Okay, so everything started when I was contacted through Instagram to be a part of this Pinners event. I researched it and everything, and it looked like a very awesome, legit, fun event that I was really excited that someone was interested in me being a vendor at this event. So I had a couple phone calls with the representative who was trying to book me for the event, and she told me a little bit about it. She said that last year 12,000 people came out to the Dallas or Texas event. I think back last year it was in Arlington, which is about 40 minutes away from Dallas. So 12,000 people came to that, and they were expecting to have about 15,000 people come to this event, which was awesome. So after chatting, I kind of told her what I do, what I make, and then I also told her that I make bath bombs. And so after we kind of booked the booth, or she kind of booked me for the event, she came back, called me, and said I'm next to a bath bomb person, and so she's going to switch me around so we're not next to each other. So I was like, cool. And at this time, she did also tell me, before she even booked me, she did tell me that there were other candle sellers. And I was okay with that, because even at local markets, I was always with at least pretty much like one candle seller. So there's always two of us. I used to do the same local market, and it was always the both of us, and we never had problems with sales because we were kind of two different styles. So I was okay with other candle sellers. It didn't bother me at all. So I was just preparing for the event. I had my theme together. My booth setup was very nice. My husband built me a canopy. We built a checkout stand together. And basically my booth theme, I wanted to be eye-catching in like a 1950s ice cream theme. That's just my aesthetic, is kind of like this vintage theme. So that's what I went for. And am I still recording? Yes. Yeah, so Thursday was set up. So Thursday was kind of hectic for us. I was planning on vlogging the setup, but it was just so hectic I didn't get to do that. And it wasn't anything Pinners had. It wasn't their fault. It was just us. We were having car issues that day, and we had to drop my son off to be at my parents' for babysitting. So we were just really busy. So Thursday we were able to set up pretty much, but not totally set up our booth. And then Friday we came back, and we came a little early, and we finished setting up. And so our booth was ready to go, and they opened the doors 30 minutes early for the VIP Pinners. And so they came through, and about 30 minutes from the doors opening, I got a sale, which I was pretty stoked about. I was like, okay, already getting sales today. But then hours went by, and I wasn't getting any more sales. So I was like, okay, you know, it's Friday. People are at work. We're in downtown Dallas, which if you're from Dallas, you know that people don't come to Dallas just for fun. It's rare occasion, like maybe younger folks will come like for the nightlife, but people really don't want to come to downtown Dallas. If you're from Dallas, it's just not something that we just don't feel like dealing with the parking and the one-way streets, and it's just a nightmare to come to downtown Dallas unless you really have to. So it was a slow day, and we were just kind of talking amongst vendors. The seller next to me, I want to point out who all the sellers were around me. She was a jewelry seller. She was the same as me, as a mompreneur, a solopreneur. She was a mom and a solo business owner that made jewelry, and she was next to me. The people to the right of me were like a company. They were magnetic eyeliner and eyelashes, and the people in front of me, they were flat iron sellers that you may see in the mall. So that was kind of who was around me. And then yeah, so I was kind of talking to the jewelry seller next to me. She wasn't really getting any sales. Another girl came up who was a couple rows down. She was talking about how she didn't get any sales Friday, and how she talked to other vendors who weren't getting sales. And my location was actually a pretty good location. I was stoked when I saw the location when I was setting up, because we were right in the front, and being next to the magnetic eyeliner and to the flat iron, I thought this was going to be a high traffic area, you know, for me, and I was really happy about that. But as Friday started winding down, I think I had about 4 sales in the 11 hours that I was there. So the person that booked me towards the end of the night, she came by my booth, and she asked me how sales were, and I told her sales were slow, but maybe Saturday is going to be busier because, you know, it's Saturday. So we came back Saturday, and it was slightly busier, and I did get slightly more sales, but the beginning of the day, I just noticed kind of the same thing. We weren't getting sales, and I just decided to go ahead and take some time to walk around and find these other candle sellers that she told me about earlier. So I found the other candle sellers. They were pretty far away from me, but they were on a back wall. And so I was walking down this aisle, and I was counting the candle sellers. And there, including me, there were 5 candle sellers and 1 Scentsy seller, 1 Scentsy representative. So there were 6 people selling home fragrances. There was like a beeswax candle. There was one girl, she made really pretty like decorative candles with flowers on top. There was another person who was just making jar candles. There was another seller who was making, like, I don't even think they made their candles. They seemed like something that you buy from China and resell. Just the way it looked, like a Yankee Candle dupe to me. I didn't get the feel that it was like a handmade business. So that was discouraging when I found out there were 6 people selling these home scents. And just to give you an idea of how many vendors there were, I think there were about 200 plus vendors, and my booth cost was $800, and I think a lot of people paid around $800 for their booth. There was a couple that were less expensive, but I think it was probably $700. And then there was a few that were on the higher end, which was $1,000 for the booth. So this was a very high cost event because, I mean, we were promised that there were going to be 15,000 people there. I did not get the impression between both days that there were 15,000 people that came through that building. That number, I have not confirmed that how many people have come, so that could be totally false, but I did not feel that there was 15,000 people there. So when I saw that there were so many candle vendors, I went back to my booth, and my husband and I were just kind of talking about it, and I was just really discouraged at that point because, you know, there were so many shopping options for these people, for the attendees, and I can understand how you first come to my booth and you're not sure, you see all these shopping options. A lot of people were saying that they were going to make their rounds and come back. Some people did come back, but a lot of people didn't. Maybe they forgot, maybe they found something else they wanted to buy, but I felt like there was a lot of people in the same genre, a lot of jewelry sellers, clothing sellers, and on top of clothing sellers, they had a LaLaRue representative there, which we all know LaLaRue has been kind of a controversial MLM as of lately. We've seen a lot of people like talking more about LaLaRue, so I was kind of weirded out that they would have that company, that they would rent a space for them because what if someone's trying to recruit the Pinners attendees to be a part of this company? I just didn't really like the vibe of that. But they had them there. They had two Flatiron sellers there. So there was the people in front of me, and then later on I found out there was another Flatiron seller across the venue, which I thought was kind of weird. So it really made the Flatiron people in front of me, they were very they were trying really hard to get their sales, which, you know, I understand they're making commissions and things like that, but they're very good salespeople, so they're very good at roping the customers in. So it was kind of hard for me to kind of get customers to my booth because they were working, the 5 people at the Flatiron booth were kind of working all of the people down the carpet into their area, and if they didn't want to be in the Flatiron area, they kind of scurried away. But I say, you know, that's not their fault, that's their job, that's, you know, they're working their commissions. It was just kind of hard for me because I'm not a good salesperson, to get those sales. So let me look at my notes really quick. I just think the vendor planning was really bad. So when I saw all of the other candle sellers, they were all in the same row. And I thought that was really weird because there was even 2 candle sellers right adjacent from each other, right in front of each other. And I just kind of felt really bad for them because they had really nice booth setups. You could tell they put a lot of time to get all of that product in there and get their booths together, and they were selling right in front of each other. So that was kind of, I didn't like how they had all those candle people together. I wasn't in the same row as them, but all of the other candle people were in the same row, which I thought was not good planning at all. I didn't think it was good to even have 6 home sense people there, let alone all in the same row. There was a girl selling the watercolors, and her row was filled with people selling watercolor kits. It just was bad planning on their end of where they're going to put the vendors. And then, so when I first was contacted, I told her I sold the bath bombs. I did not have time to have any bath bombs, but like I said in the beginning, she said she was going to move me from, I don't know if I said this, but there's another bath bomb seller that was next to, in the same row as me. Like we had, she was one down. So she told me, hey, there's another bath bomb seller, I'm going to move your booth. And I said, okay, cool. So when I got there, my booth was still in the same spot. I was not moved from the bath bomb seller. So luckily I didn't bring any bath bombs. Her booth was very nice. She had a little bath bomb demonstration and all of that. So I didn't have any bath bombs, so there wasn't a competition there. But if I did, I mean, I was promised that I was not going to be next to the bath bomb person and that they were going to move me. And for the booth cost of $800, I don't think that's fair that they did not come through with that request. even at small local markets, they do put thought into where the candle people are. They'll put them at different ends. So I just thought for a big event like this that they should have done better planning for the vendors. So back to the vendors, like I said, I just think there was too many shopping options. It seems like the beauty vendors were doing good, and the like DIY vendors, so people who had a DIY element to their booth, I think they did well. But I don't think people were really there to shop, and that is just what I got from it. So I think they really do need to cut back on the shopping vendors. I don't know if they were just trying to fill booth space, but I don't think a lot of the vendors who were just there for shopping made their booth money back. I talked to a lot of people and they did not make their booth money back, and including me, I did not make my booth money back. So that's kind of like the cons of everything. We also had to pay $15 per day to park. I feel like they could have knocked our booth costs by $30 as vendors. We had to actually pay for our parking as well. So I didn't even expect that when I got there. I didn't know we were going to have to pay $15 to park. On Friday, when we noticed that we weren't getting many sales, on Saturday we had the plan to change our booth setup so that the display would be closer to the carpet, so it'd be easier to get people in. So that did help to get people to smell the candles and to interact. And I have to say, I did enjoy interacting with all the people that came up. We talked to some fun people, and it was really nice to get to talk to everybody. So I did like that we did change our booth setup. It may have gotten us slightly more sales, but it wasn't enough sales to cover anything really. So there were people on Saturday that came up to me, some customers who smelled my candles, and then they started telling me about another candle seller, which I think was like the Yankee Candle dupe seller. They may have been buying their candles really cheap because they were fire selling their inventory, because since we weren't getting sales Friday, they just started selling their inventory super cheap. So they were selling these like 2-ounce candles, 2 for 75 cents, bag of 20 tea lights for $1, and then $2 full-size candles. And I just cannot compete with that price. I cannot go lower than 20% off to really cover my costs. So that was a bit discouraging. So people were actually buying their candles at that price. Just a cheap candle that you would find somewhere in the Dollar Tree or something like that is pretty much what they were buying. So there were people who did appreciate like the handmade aspect of my candles. So I did get sales because just talking to people, and they really did like just how they looked. But like I said, I think overall I got 13 sales. Some people bought 2 candles, so I'm not sure how many candles that is total, but I only got 13 sales in those 2 days. So with all that said, I do think there are some pros with the event, a lot of them for the attendees. I do think the event was nicely marketed. So a lot of people, the marketing, they did spend time doing all sorts of marketing with the news stations, radio stations, Facebook ads. So I do think the event was nicely marketed, which they did promise to the vendors that it would be. They did have some news spots and things like that. Also, the cost to get in for the attendees was very inexpensive. So it was $10, but there was a lot of discount codes to get in for $5. And I do like the aspect of that there being a whole lot of classes. There was a lot of classes that people could choose from to attend. And then if you didn't attend a class, there were booths where they did like walk-up DIYs and things like that. And I think those booths did really well, the ones who had like the DIY aspect to it. So if you had like hand lettering, painting, they had some like making those wooden signs. Booths that did that, I think, were doing really well at the event. And I just don't think that the shopping was something that people were coming there for. So I would suggest maybe if pinners would try to like cut in half the shopping vendors. It seemed like their more popular booths were the beauty. So the eyelash people next to me, I remember I asked them on Friday, she had sold $7,000 of inventory in the magnetic eyeliner and eyelashes. I had no idea that was a thing. And then the flat iron people were doing well also. So I do think the event also was nicely decorated, It had a very nice theme to it. They had the Home Depot sections where they had huge spaces set out for Home Depot to do DIYs. They also had Michael's DIYs, huge sections for that. I think that was really nice for the attendees as well. It looked really nice and put together, so I think that was a pro also. But other than that, for vendors, a lot of vendors were disappointed. After talking to several vendors, many people did not make their money back. Personally, I don't even think that I made $300 in sales, and my booth being $800, and of course the marketing materials that I bought for this event, special signage and things like that, the materials to make the booth setup, I would say that probably all cost me about $1,000. And I actually, when we came back, we counted the inventory and we put my inventory up nicely so that I can access it later. We counted that I have about 218 candles that I brought back from the event. So my math was thinking that I was going to maybe sell about 115 candles if there was going to be 15,000 in attendance. 150 was a good number that I thought I was going to sell. So I made about, I think maybe 200 something candles, and I brought back 218 candles. So that tells you how many sales that I made right there. Same with the girl next to me. She had the same idea. She thought she was going to sell about 100 to 150 of her jewelry. So she said she actually spent the past 8 months making that jewelry during her kids' nap time, trying to get her inventory up. So now she has all of this jewelry that she made, and she was not able to sell it. And there's just a lot of vendors who were disappointed. So I know I'm really talking about this event. It was just, I don't usually like to do this, but I just really wanted to make people aware. Just do more research, ask more questions. If you are a candle seller, ask how many candle sellers are going to be there. I just think the booth cost was a lot. I have never been to an event where the booth cost is just that much. And I feel like when I do the local markets, I actually make more sales, because since there's only 20 vendors, we get, a little bit more sales from the people that come in. So this event taught me a lot, and I'm hoping that this video, people will come across this video when you're researching. Not to say that Pinners is not a good event. Maybe this event, I know they had a different location this year compared to last year. That could have played a big role, but just do a lot more research, and hopefully in the future they will make more better decisions on vendor planning. They did send out a survey, and I told them exactly what I'm telling you guys about the vendor situation and all that. So hopefully they do take that into account and change it next year for 2020. Will I be going back to this event? No, I will not be. And yes, that's all I pretty much have to say. If you have any questions more about this, leave it down below. But I think that's kind of how business goes. You win some, you lose some, but you just have to move on and just keep trying. But this is not going to be my only video this week. I know you guys are used to studio vlogs, so I'll be releasing a studio vlog later this week, but my camera is about to die, so I'm going to wrap this video up. And until next time, bye guys.